Welcome to Biology Made Easy. Today we are looking at photosynthesis and we are looking specifically at the adaptations for photosynthesis. Look at the root, stem, leaves. First, we'll look at morphological adaptations and we'll look at anatomical adaptations. Photosynthesis is a process where water, carbon dioxide, in the presence of sunlight and chlorophyll green produces glucose, oxygen given off. Now this equation, because the glucose is easily converted into carbohydrate, and the carbohydrates we have sucrose, starch, cellulose. So the really good equation for photosynthesis is this one: water, carbon dioxide, chlorophyll in the presence of sunlight produces carbohydrates and oxygen given off. So what about the balance equation for photosynthesis, which is glucose? Here is it. So now, morphological adaptations. This is part of a plant that I have drawn. This is the leaf, stem, more leaves here, and roots. We have the leaf adaptation, you have cuticle. This cuticle is waxy to conserve water that is necessary for photosynthesis. Reduces water loss, transpiration and evaporation, and so conserves water for photosynthesis. Then you have the leaf blade. This leaf blade is thin, flat, and so it has a large surface area to volume ratio, being thin and flat, so that it presents a wide surface area for sunlight to incident it for photosynthesis. And then its thinness will also enable light penetration to be efficient. And then its thinness enables diffusion of gases easily. And then the leaf blade is green with chlorophyll to photosynthesize. So that's for the leaf blade or lamina. So we look at the leaf stalk, and here we have its length and its shape. The length and the shape of the leaf stalk holds the leaf in such a way that light can reach the leaf blade efficiently. The stem supports the leaves and allow leaf arrangement on the stem in such a way that there will be minimum overshadowing, minimum overlapping, and sunlight will reach all the leaves neatly, and that kind of arrangement is leaf mosaic. Then we come to the root. The root has root hairs, and the root hairs are plenty to present a large surface area to volume ratio, where a lot of water and mineral salts can be absorbed by the root hairs into the plant. Well, so anatomical adaptations, we want to look at root. Root, you have the xylem that moves water up the plant, and then you have the phloem also in the roots that will move manufactured food into the root cells for storage so that more photosynthesis can go on, so that the phloem takes the food down. And then you also have the phloem. If photosynthesis does not go the way it should and other growing parts needs, the food will move from the roots into other parts, which will form structures to allow photosynthesis to go on. So the phloem takes food down or can take food from storage organs to growing parts. That is the root. Then the stem also has xylem to take water up so that the plant will use it to photosynthesis. That is the xylem in the stem taking water up, and then phloem in the stem here will be conducting manufactured food down the root and into storage parts, and phloem in the stem will also take manufactured food from photosynthesis into growing parts up, like flowers and fruits. So that's the function of the phloem of the stem and the phloem of the roots. So the anatomical adaptations in the root and the stem, we look mainly to the xylem and the phloem in the roots and the stem that enables photosynthesis to go on effectively. Now let's come to look at anatomical adaptations of the leaf. So here we have a section of the leaf. How are the tissues adapted for photosynthesis? You have the cuticle, which is waxy to reduce water loss from the leaf by transpiration and evaporation so that there will be water for photosynthesis. And then you have the cuticle and upper epidermis, transparent, so that light can easily penetrate to reach the photosynthetic cells beneath. Then you have the palisade mesophyll layer. This layer is made up of elongated or column-shaped cells, and you see the cells are closely packed with very little intercellular spaces to form a sheath so that it can absorb plenty of sunlight. Then you see that the elongated cells of the palisade mesophyll have very small cross walls, very thin, has narrow cross walls, so that when light incidents the leaf, not much light energy will be absorbed at the cross walls because they are narrow. Good. Then the cells, mesophyll cells, have a lot of chloroplasts, plenty in number. These are the green bits, that's the chloroplast. And the chloroplasts are aligned very close to the cell wall because much of the space is filled by vacuoles. So the chloroplasts are found in thin cytoplasmic linings on the cell walls. And the chloroplast is set to move slightly, and they move because the cytoplasm moves, cytoplasmic streaming, and the chloroplast moves so that every time the chloroplast line at right angles to the incident of light. So there's a chloroplast, light is coming this way. So this is the chloroplast, it's lying, and here is sunlight. The chloroplasts are they align themselves at right angles to incident of sunlight so that maximum amount of sunlight can be absorbed by the chloroplast for photosynthesis. And we said there are very large vacuoles in the mesophyll cells. The vacuoles store temporarily the products of photosynthesis, which is glucose, which is quickly turned into sucrose. So the vacuoles store a lot of sucrose temporarily to enable more photosynthesis to go on in the palisade mesophyll cells. Then we look at the spongy mesophyll cells. These are the spongy mesophyll cells. See, the cells are irregularly shaped and they are loosely packed, allowing big intercellular spaces. And the intercellular spaces are very important to allow gas exchange. Carbon dioxide moves in and fills the intercellular spaces, and oxygen moves out. That is exchange of gases. So the large intercellular spaces in the spongy mesophyll enables efficient exchange of gases. That is it. Then in the mesophyll layer are found a lot of veins. This is one vein, this is one vein, and the vein is made up of xylem and phloem areas, and many veins have bundle sheath. The bundle sheath are these cells. They are closely fitting cells. In some leaves, the bundle sheath is made up of collenchyma cells. We talked about these tissue. And in other thick leaves, the bundle sheath is made up of sclerenchyma, all to support the vein area, that the vein made up of xylem and phloem does not collapse, because the xylem is supplying water for photosynthesis, phloem is taking out food substances manufactured, so more photosynthesis can go on. So the vascular bundle area, which is the xylem and the phloem, that's the vein, is supported by bundle sheath. Well, in C4 plants, the bundle sheath here has chloroplast in it. So in C4 plants, The bundle sheath also go through photosynthesis. We'll talk about it when we look at C4 plants. Then the spongy mesophyll cells also have large vacuoles to store food manufactured in the vacuole. Then you have the lower epidermis, which is also modified for photosynthesis. The guard cells have chloroplast. The other cells of the lower epidermis lack chloroplast, and the guard cells have chloroplast so that the formation of glucose or not will regulate the size of the stomach, opening the stomach, enlarging the stomach, or reducing the size of the stomach. This we discussed in our lesson on guard cells regulation. Please check. The stomach, many of them stomata, also are holes through which carbon dioxide moves into the leaf and oxygen moves out. So they are holes adapted to enable gaseous exchange so that photosynthesis can go on. In our next lesson, follow up of this, we are going to look at the adaptation of chloroplast for photosynthesis. We are picking the chloroplast alone to look at its adaptations. Well, this is the end of today's lesson. If you found the lesson useful, give us your likes and kindly subscribe. Thank you very much. Bye-bye.